Hello everybody, it is Jen Ferguson here with Artistic Painting Studio, and welcome to my page. And by the way, I think it's Wednesday, so I think we're halfway done with the week. So give me a minute or two, and I'm going to make sure that we're live on the correct page, and then I'm going to go share this link. Got that out. Now let's go. And as always, I'm going to go share over and foil everything. And welcome to all that is tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. And we will get having some fun here really quick. And I hope we don't have any issues, but I'm hearing the thunder again. So let's hope that it doesn't roll through like it did a little while ago. We didn't have great reception when the storm hit. Almost done. Let's see. Okay, I did not turn on. Let me see if I can do it from the other phone, you guys. Forgot to turn on Do Not Disturb, which I think I can do it from my other phone. Maybe that'll work. So hello Jessica. And let's see, Restyled by SLC is here as well. I'm not sure what your first name is, but okay, let me get back to our regular page here and get my video open. And that way I can see questions and comments way better. Hello, Darlene. Okay, so yesterday we had a lot of fun playing on some flannel, okay? And I used our fusible spray to do this, and you guys, it has come out so cute. It does definitely feel different because, you know, your flannels are always soft and just kind of really cool to wear. It does give it a feel of kind of like a little bit of a vinyl, okay? So it definitely does change the texture, but it's not going to change the warmth and the comfy from the inside. Just the outside, you're going to have a little bit more texture too. But this came out great. And again, I used our fusible adhesive to do it, and showed you guys how to spray this and not to overspray and all the great things that you have to do. But I know that we can also do it with our gel duo. So we're going to try that this afternoon and see if I can just do a little pocket here. Let me get my camera in position. So I'm going to get rid of this button. Okay, I'm going to unbutton that part. And when I do the gel duo, I just like to brush on. I don't worry about taping off. So I think sometimes it can just be a little bit easier to use that product instead of everything you have to go through to prep for the spray. Okay, because the spray, you got to prep everything. Now I also thought about doing the area here that is the raised stitching for the buttons. So I'll probably spray that as well. So I'm going to try and show both areas, okay, or both techniques. So Transfer Gel Duo is a product we've had for many, many years. It is milky white in the container, and it is going to brush onto your surface milky white. Again, I always like to take my products out of the container. That way you're not leaving your lid off for so long, and keep your product fresh. Thank you, Jessica. Hello, Penny. Products can just get dried out if you have them open and sitting around. Okay, so I'm hoping you guys can see my pocket well here. You can probably barely see that stitching, okay, but I'm just going to paint it on And I'm definitely going to put on, I don't want to say a generous layer, but this should look white after you put it on your garment. Just definitely change the color of it slightly, and it goes on milky white, just like most of our foil adhesives do, and it dries clear, okay? So the reason I don't demo too much with this particular product is its dry time. It usually takes about an hour for it to dry. So we're going to play around with this today and just see if I can get it to work a little bit faster, maybe even pull out a blow dryer and do everything wrong, because I really do prefer to allow all the products to dry naturally instead of trying to force them. I always felt I do have better results with doing that. But for the reason of trying to do this on a live, we're going to try and speed things up, because none of us want to sit here and watch foil adhesive dry for an hour, okay? Talk about being boring. That would be the ultimate boring, okay? Hello, Terry. Hope all is going well. I was just at Terry's location this past Saturday, teaching with her, a group of 15 ladies that came out to learn how to use the fusible spray with stencils on denim, and we had a great class. So much fun getting to teach in person as well and help everybody accomplish their project. So that was fun. I hope everything is going well there and that your weather is not as bad as it is down here. Okay, we keep getting little storms. So if you guys have any questions about this technique, working on fabric, dry times, any of that stuff. And as you can see, working on fabric, it moves, okay? So sometimes you got to really just take your time to get in here and brush. And like I said, I was being kind of, I want to say lazy. I just don't like to have to tape off if I don't need to. And if I feel I can stay on my pocket or on the project, I just do. Now, Terry doesn't like even going over any of the seams, so she is always trying to guide her projects in between. I've been kind of gutsy on this project here and just went ahead and have gone over the seams, where the reason being that she doesn't like dealing with it is it's just harder to get a transfer over the seams because there's texture, it's quite a bit thicker. I've found with the stitching that it can kind of warble, so it's a little bit harder to get into all of that as well, or to get the foil to lay down into all of that. So she just avoids it, which I think could be a great thing. Me, I'm just going crazy here and trying to see if I can get it to work. So just about have this pocket covered. And as I had indicated, it does take usually about 45 minutes to an hour for this product to dry. And that is really the main reason I don't use it on lives too much, because I'm usually too busy around here doing other things that I don't have time to set up a live. These are always just kind of on the fly, seeing what we can accomplish in 45 minutes to an hour. So we might be on here for a while today and see how we can get this to come across. Okay, so you should be able to see nicely now that the pocket's completely painted with the duo. Definitely critique your work. Make sure you have it everywhere. If it looks like it's not as milky white, maybe just add a little bit more in any area where you think you might be too light. I've always said if you have no adhesive, you're not going to have any transfer. So if you've gotten it on so thin in some area, you might not get a great transfer. Now, not that you need it super thick, but want to make sure that you do have full coverage. Even when I was doing the back section of this yesterday, I realized that I completely missed spraying this one area. So, you know, now that I've got this out, I think I'm going to go ahead and just paint some of the Duo gel right there and see if I can repair that one little piece, okay, and get that to transfer. I might as well try while I've got it all out. Hello, Gloria. Good to see you here. Okay, let me get my water tub. I don't want to just lay that brush around and find it 2 or 3 days later from now and find that it's hard and stiff and I've ruined it, okay? Oh, speaking of that, I think I've mentioned it a few times lately, but if you have not grabbed this product yet, you guys, this is the best friend you could ever have for your brushes. I found a tub of brushes when I went back to California a couple of weeks ago, and they were in a water tub, dried out, hard as could be, and I took them, scrubbed them in this stuff, let it sit overnight, and I saved every brush, okay? So it's just a hard soap in there that you take your wet brush and just swirl it around. Then normally I just scrub them back and forth on my palm of my hand until I can get them to clean out. But that is good stuff. If you've never tried it, it's definitely worth the investment. Okay, so I'm going to keep going with this denim, or no, sorry, flannel shirt here, because I just think that this is going to be so cute to continue to add to. Hello, Miss Tammy. Glad to see you here as well. Tammy is also one of my retailers. She is up in West Virginia. And Beautifully Redeemed Treasures, as I think the name, okay? Sometimes it's hard to remember the name of everybody's stores. But if you're in West Virginia area, you got to go check her out. If you're in Michigan, up by Lake Orion, make sure to go check out Terry. We've got some great retailers over in Chicago as well. So got a lot of people over here to help you guys out, to find products and help you with projects if needed. I mean, I think it's great that, we've got the full store online. We have all the foils, but you guys, when you've got a local retailer, they're there not just to help you get your products, but also to give you guidance and, if need be, walk you through your projects, okay? So make sure to take advantage of these wonderful retailers that are out and about. Let's see, Jessica, thank you for the stars. That's so kind of you. Okay, so we're going to do a couple more parts of this flannel because I think this is just too fun and too cute. And you know me, once I find something new to do, I got to do a couple of them, okay? And this all came about because Ashley, bless my daughter, she cleans out her closet way more often than anybody else I know. But when I was home a couple of weeks ago, she had a couple of bags of clothes for me to look through. And she loaded me up with some flannels. And I thought, oh my gosh, these would be so cute. Not that it's the temperature to wear these right now, but I'll have to say that I'm one of those people that is normally colder than most. And I find when I am in areas that are hot and humid, establishments, restaurants, hotels, casinos, all these different places overcompensate with their AC, meaning they just make the place freezing, okay? So I normally bring a flannel with me or some kind of cute little cover-up or jacket, so I always have these with me. Darlene says that her brush cleaner comes in today. Yay! You and your brushes are going to love that stuff. So I want to thank you all for hanging out. Also, if you did not get an alert, a text alert, and you would like to get a text alert every time I go live, then there is a link in the description of the video that I did today so that you guys can go and get signed up. Even if you're signed up for our text alerts, make sure that you're signed up also in the group where we send out the live alerts, because we don't send out text messages to everybody all the time. So make sure you're on this particular group that you'll get the live alert on just when I'm going live as well. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to work with both today. We're letting the Gel Duo dry, and we're hoping that this dries a little quicker, or I'm going to go grab a blow dryer as well. But this product is designed for fabric. I've also used it on note cards and had good results with it, but it will go through the washer, and that's a really good point. Both of our products that I'm going to be working with today can be washed. So if you're doing fabric, make sure you're using one of our fabric adhesives. And we recommend cold water, inside out, on delicate cycle, and line dry. Now, if you don't do any of the things that I just recommended, it will still come out okay. It might just not wear well as long, okay? You're probably going to maybe fade it or start to wear it a little bit if you're sticking it in the dryer and not doing everything. But it will definitely be there, because Dan helps me out every once in a while. He does laundry. He forgets I have things that might not want to be, dried, and I've had several items go through the dryer and they came out okay. So just so you know. Okay, so Dawn, if you usually get the text and you did not get it today, in the description of this video, okay, at the very top of it, make sure to click that link, okay, because it's going to put you in a segment that is designed for live alerts only, okay, and I'm going to also put it here in the comments and pin it. Go grab it right now, okay, just because not everybody wants to get a text every single time. So that's why we'll sometimes not send it to everybody. Okay, I'm going to pin this one. So it is just, says live subscribe page. Okay, go make sure you sign up under that. Again, it's not going to sign you up for more alerts. It's just going to put you in this segment so that every time I do go live, if I'm not texting the entire group, you'll still get a text. Okay, sorry, my throat is a little scratchy today, so I keep drinking some water. Okay, let's just go back here. I'm just going to turn my camera a little bit so I don't have to move my shirt too much. Okay, with the Gel Duo, I didn't bother to tape off. I just hand brushed over the stitched on pocket, okay, because it was completely stitched around. So it was a separate piece of fabric that I could isolate. And I figured it would be easy enough to stay on the pocket. So I didn't bother to tape off. If you're not comfortable with your brush ability, then I would suggest taping off and then not having to worry about it. We're waiting for that to dry. It could take up to a good 45 minutes, so we're just going to be patient and see how long it takes. And then in the meantime, we are going to use my fusible spray, okay, and do the raised stitching area where you would be buttoning up. So then I'm going to have my foil across the top of the bag. I'll have it on a pocket, and then I'm going to have it all the way down the front of the shirt. So with the fusible spray, you want to shake this can, and you want to shake it well. It has a ball in there, so we call it a rattle can. Okay, you want to make sure you hear that rattle and rattle well. So shake it up good. And once you do shake it up, you should even be feeling that the can has got a little cooler. Now, when I do the spray, I stand. And I'm taping and putting paper all around because you really want to mask off and make sure that you don't end up with overspray all over the place. So I'm even putting this across my table so I don't get it on my table. And you guys want to get into using short burst, okay? And you don't want to be any closer than this, which is probably about 4 to 6 inches, okay? And even I would say 4 inches is getting too close, but you just want to start turning the surface white. Ooh, this is going to be a hard one, okay? That's right over the pocket area, okay? So hopefully you can see that it's turned this one section looking white, okay? But it does not need to be solid white. I think that's where some people get in a little bit of trouble and spray too much. And you don't want to be just spraying back and forth and back and forth. I just kind of do short burst across the whole surface. And then just protect everything else around you, because overspray is super easy to do with this product. I'm not that great. I always say I'm not a spray artist, okay, a graffiti artist, so that's why I feel like I got to make sure everything is masked off. Okay, that's it. That's how quick and easy the spray is. And the gel is also super quick to work with. It's just the fact that we got such a longer dry time. So I think it's kind of like kind of evens out. With the gel duo, we have weighting, but we don't have to worry about taping off. We don't have to worry about overspray and masking so much. But the nice thing also with the spray adhesive is we only have a 10-minute wait time, okay? So once I've sprayed, I try to remember to always just remove the tape right away so that I don't iron over it, okay? I've done that once, okay? You know, give a girl a break. Sometimes we just forget about things and just start getting crazy and getting stuff done. So I'm going to try to get this section out of my way and then show you guys just some fun options of what we can do on denim, okay? And I started thinking there's just all kinds of really cool things, okay? Even if you wanted to do something across the whole back panel and do a really large stencil, you could do, I mean, all kinds of just fun stuff, because that's just layering. You're still going to see all the colors of the flannel, the pattern. You're just going to have another layer of interest to it. So a couple of the options that I had originally pulled out was even doing Tinsley, which I thought could be really cool and kind of subtle in one respect, that it wouldn't be holographic and shiny, okay? So you're not going to have that shimmer, okay, from the hologram, because you really get that shimmer, okay? But you also would have a bolder print. So you would have no real shimmer, but you're definitely going to have bold design. So it kind of just depends on the look that you want and just kind of the direction you're going. But I think this one would be really fun. Just seeing that even on the camera, that looks like it could be really cute. So you could do, you could do so many darn things. Okay, let's say you want to just even paint on the back and or even use the spray and not even just spray it and get rough edges and just have it kind of uneven, and then lay a whole piece of foil, you know, and make kind of like a patch, and you can come back and freehand with that as well. I mean, there's just so many options, and whether it is a flannel shirt or if you oops, are we bouncing here, you guys? Okay, I feel like my home screen. Okay, it looks like we're okay. I think we're going to be okay. I did say in the very beginning of the video that we had a thunderstorm that came through here not that long ago. I didn't think we had any more rain for a while, so I'm hoping that if we end up with a buffer or two, that will come back quickly. Okay. I'm going to show you guys a couple of more possible options, okay? If you do lose us at any point, just go out and come back in, and normally that fixes the video. Portia was one of my first thoughts to actually do on here, and then I changed my mind and went for Willow. Sorry, guys. I wanted to get my nose there real quick. Boy, you all are being so quiet, okay? Another thing that you can do with Portia is if you decided you wanted to do some kind of panel on the back, okay, but you wanted this more shaped to the foil design itself, you could come in here and cut out whatever part of the design that you want it to see, okay, and make patch. And then once you have that cut out, maybe we'll have to do Portia on the back. Let's see. I've done Portia on jeans this way, which was really super cool. So let's see. Let's get an idea of a section that we would like to use, okay? Okay, we've got a long jacket, or a long thing. Let's go up to about here. Okay, I'm just going to cut that off. Okay, I'm not sure I want to do this today, but I want to give you guys the idea, and we can always work on this again, this part later. Jessica, if you have a house full of kids, we've been talking about that at the studio recently. We have got to come up with some fun projects that you guys can do with the kiddos at home and incorporate them into some fun afternoon crafting, okay? I think it's so great to always expose the younger generation to doing something creative so that they also just get exposed to different things. So we've been brainstorming and coming up with some things, but I think fabric could be something cute depending on the age of the kiddos, okay? That if they're, maybe 5, 6 up, you can definitely guide them and help them, but they could do their a stencil on a t-shirt. You could definitely help them with a hat project. I just think there's some fun things that we can do and just guide our young generation to use their creativity. We've got to use it so we don't lose it, okay? That would be so awesome. So yeah, we'll have to keep coming up with more projects. I think we've got an email coming out that I was focusing on projects with our young generation while they're home for the summer. Even if you have to help guide and do, the majority of stuff, they could make a pair of custom tennis shoes, a custom baseball cap, and just have some fun. I think kids really love doing things like this. And sometimes I think it's just the parents having time. So if you're blessed to be a grandparent and have the littles around, help out during summertime, that would be such a cool thing to get to do. Okay, so this is definitely tedious, but I want to cut out enough just to give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about. And you can incorporate as much or as little as the pattern. I was thinking more elongated down the back to give a really cool panel, even though that this one's different than the Willow. And I could always go in with smaller scissors maybe and cut a little bit better. But this will give you an idea of what I'm trying to do here. So I'm cutting along the pattern so that when you transfer this, that's going to be your outline, okay? So I think this would be super, super cool to be able to do. Now, I did this with a pair of jeans. Just making sure I got all of that up so it can dry over there. I did this with a pair of jeans, and the hardest or trickiest part was I had to outline. Once I cut it all out and placed it, where I wanted it to go, I had to trace it, and I think I finally found like a watercolor pencil or fabric chalk. Okay, so like when you're actually sewing, there is a chalk that you can use that will just dissipate when you wash. And that was another way to do it, okay? So I think I might have to maybe cut off some of this flower and create a little bit smaller design here. But you're the only one that's going to know where this pattern started or stopped, okay? So if I get rid of some of the petals, I think we'll be okay. I could even make that a little bit smaller. I think we'll come in this way here. Oh, okay, I like that better. Okay, I'm going to cut down this way. Even though if it cuts part of the design off, I think we're going to be okay. I just didn't want this big flower just poofing out that way. But this will be just a fun addition, okay? And if I don't like the way that stops, I can always grab another part of the foil design itself that I've cut off somewhere else and maybe even just add that in, okay? So I can kind of play with the outside edge and make sure I've got it as scalloped as I want. But this will definitely take some time to cut and work with. Some parts are going to be easier, I think, than others to get that, but you could also just maybe scallop the top and the bottom and leave the edges straight, and then we could even paint off of those edges. I mean, there's just so much you can do. There's no wrong way to do it. It just depends on the look and how you want to lay out the design. on the back, but I love how this came out across the top, okay? So, as we keep working on this, okay, I'm going to put a piece of tape, though, on the side that I know is the transfer side right now, so I don't have to figure that out later, because this is going to get laid down, okay? So that was one possible idea, which I think could be really, really fun. And there's so many of the different foils that you could go through. And again, just create a panel on the back. Okay, this might not be the best option for this particular flannel and foil color, but I still think we could even just do a square. We could then paint out from the sides of it. We can just add some more design element and just have fun. Oh, Leela, you've never seen me do clothes before. It does wash well. You want to wash cold water inside out on delicate cycle if possible, and keep it out of the dryer for best results. Now, I had said earlier it will still come out okay, even if you screw up everything that I just said. But I always feel that it will just last longer if you can wash your washing, okay? Meaning make sure that you try to do it cold water, inside out, delicate cycle, no dryer. It's just going to last longer, okay? So here are some mini rolls I have. We do have these mini rolls on the website, which are really cool. They're large rolls, though, as far as how much foil is on them, but they're only somewhere between, I think, 2.5 to maybe 5 inches wide. But this could be even a fun pattern to put onto the back, and then maybe even come back with transparent foil around it. I'm just thinking out loud. There's just so many freaking options to do some fun stuff. Hello, Donna. Cassandra, once you have the foil cut out, so I'm going to go back to the Portia, the one that I was working on here. So once I did have this all cut out and I was ready to like figure out where I'm going to put the glue, yes, you need to do like a fabric sewing pencil that will dissolve and give yourself an outline. And if you want to run the foil adhesive just a little short, you can, and then or just write out that line, just depending on how precise, okay? But yes, you'll have to outline it to get the shape, and then you can pull this off, put your adhesive on, and then come back and place your foil. It actually will work out pretty good. Now, you could also just do, I'm going to flip it over this way because I didn't cut anything. So let's say I just wanted to do a square. I can just do a square. I still think that would be really cool, just working in the denim panel, and then come back and paint around it when you're done. I think that would be super, super cool. Hello, Brenda. Thanks for joining. Oh, Gloria, yes, that will be gorgeous. Portia is so beautiful over a dark color. Oh, love that every time. Jessica, thank you for the stars. See, my granddaughter, Girl Scout troop, we foiled wind chimes. Oh my gosh, how fun. And thank you for introducing them to foils. I think that's just so fun to be able to do that, especially with a Girl Scout troop or any group of kids. Okay, I used to, when my kids were in elementary school, we had what was called an art docent project, or an art docent program. I was one of the many parents who donated their time to bring art into the classroom, because it was not was not provided by the district anymore to bring any kind of curriculum to the classroom that was art related. So a lot of what we did through the docent program was more traditional art, but I used to always try to come into the classrooms as well and just show them stuff that wasn't traditional art, show them more of stuff that was craft related, things that I thought they would have so much fun doing that they could bring home and continue to be able to use and do, okay? Okay, so let's get back to this. I know that my fusible spray is ready to go. I have no problem cutting a piece of foil and getting over the top of that. Okay, and I'm going to use part of my scraps that I was working with last night. I don't know why I put my scissors away. We're going to need those, okay? And our gel duo is still not dry. And I told you in the very beginning that the gel duo can take 45 minutes to an hour to actually dry. And it's just the way that product is designed and made. So we have to be super patient with it. And that is one of the main reasons that I don't always show it during a live, because it's just a time-consuming, long process to get that to dry. I'm going to, I think, grab my blow dryer, and I also am going to have to get another piece of willow here to go on the pocket. And let's make sure that I cut enough. Trying to get myself a guide here. I have enough to get over that whole pocket, and we've got enough to go all the way down the front. Oh yes, that's plenty. I can maybe even use my smaller piece here. Oh, we can. Okay, so we'll keep the smaller piece out. Now, last night I was talking about once you get the foil off the cord, and you're playing around with it and you're cutting pieces, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, what is the transfer side? What is the carrier side? Both sides of this foil look absolutely identical. So my trick is to grab a piece of tape, and I'm sure you guys have seen this 100 times, but put that tape on the side that you think is the carrier side, do a little rubbing, and see if it comes off. Now, if it doesn't come off on that corner, I'm going to try another little corner here. I'm going to rub again, and it did come off. Okay, so I knew I was on the right side, which was the transfer side. That first corner was just stubborn. And then I'm going to flip it over, which then I know that is the carrier side. And I'm going to put that piece of tape there. So I know, even if it's laying around, which is the correct side. And somebody was saying yesterday about that is really super good information, because it's so easy to get them flipped up the wrong way, and it can damage the foil. Okay, I've had it where it's damaged it before. Sometimes I'll be able to pull it off and work with it and have no problem whatsoever. Okay, let's get some stuff plugged in here. And I'm going to plug in my little mini press, okay? Give me just a second. My laptop's kind of in the way. There we go, okay. So I'm going to use a little Cricut mini press to do the ironing, because with our spray, our fusible spray, and also the gel duo, I like to transfer with the iron. Okay, this is just a mini iron. I'm going to go at medium heat, meaning I'm only going to highlight 2 of the 3 lines. The third line means it's already all the way up to hot. I don't want to go that hot. I want to keep it at just medium heat. I'm going to let that warm up. And that's still, we're going to try, okay? This has probably been a good 30 minutes or so, maybe longer, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and give it a shot, and either it's going to work really great or it's not over this one area, and then it's just a good, okay, that, I misplaced that, okay? This piece is just about the right size, so let's do that again, okay. Okay, so this is either going to end up working or it's not. I'm going to have to iron it several times and redo it. We'll just see. Okay, remembering too that there's that button there, which is going to be a little tricky. So I think I'm going to find a piece of wood to stick inside the pocket, because that button is going to mess up my ironing. So I'm going to use this little coaster I have here, okay, to put underneath there. So when I'm ironing, at least that's part of it. I have something hard and smooth under there, okay, but I am going to iron first the section here that we have going down. And because I'm piecing together here, I was going to see if there was any way I could kind of line up that pattern or not. Might not be perfect, but I think that might be a little bit closer, okay? So wait for your iron or mini press, whatever you're using, to get hot. And now it's showing all green, which means it's nice and warm. Hello, Mary Jo. Brenda, I do have lots of videos on my YouTube channel. When you're over there, do me a big favor, hit that subscribe button, okay? We sure appreciate it. I don't have anything on exactly what I'm doing right now, but there are tons and tons of videos over there. And now we load a new tutorial every week. And we're also loading 1 to 2 of our Facebook Lives over on a just a special grouping, just so that we don't lose all of our YouTube or our Facebook Lives, because Facebook is now removing all of them after 30 days, which is causing a big hiccup, okay? Okay, so let's just go ahead and iron. And the one thing I wanted to show you guys here, which I think is super cool, but I want to point it out, the area that I've ironed has cleared out. The area that I have not ironed, okay, the adhesive is still looking milky white. So when you iron, you are heating up that adhesive and that transfer foil, and they're melting together basically. So you'll see that white, that kind of like, I call it flocking, okay? It looks like Christmas tree flocking that comes out of the fusible spray adhesive can. It goes back clear, which means your garment's gonna look the same color as it did to begin with. Oops. I hit that button. Okay, watch that little button that's right where my finger goes. And I tend to hit it at least every time. Okay, also when you're ironing, let's make sure that you are on a hard surface. I am on like a Corian, I think it's some kind of Corian table. It's just here on the motorhome. But I have a silicone mat underneath protecting my table from all of my crafting, okay? Trying to make sure I do not devalue this couch, okay? I do recommend that being on a hard surface, and definitely do not iron over a vinyl tablecloth, because it might get too hot and melt the vinyl. How do we know that? Because it happened this past weekend, because all the classroom tables were covered in a really cute vinyl tablecloth, and somebody ironed a little too long, and it melted to the inside of her denim jacket. Now, we asked her to keep us posted on anything she found to actually get that off, because we weren't sure what was going to get that vinyl off of the inside of the denim. If you guys have any idea how to get that to remove, let us know. We gave her a few helpful hints and tips of things to try, but I haven't heard back if anything worked, okay? So you do want to iron for a good 30 seconds to maybe a minute. I like to press. I want to make sure that I'm getting everything. I am up on an area that has like 2 to 3 thickness of fabric, because it is the stitched area to button up. So this whole area is raised, and I want to make sure that I've got a really good ironing on that so that it transfers well. Oh, you're most welcome, Brenda. Have fun over there, okay? We've got some great videos. I've been making YouTube videos for a long time. Okay, so when I'm doing this over here, I still feel like my gel duo is milky white, okay? And I wanted to just do that one section over the wood because the button was there. Now I'm going to take that out and try to do the whole pocket. Okay, now I'm going to have to iron this one longer, just for the fact that the gel duo is not dried all the way. When I went to go and start this, I told you guys it was still milky white. It wasn't completely dry, but I have had success going too early when I took the time and I ironed longer and let the heat also help to dry the duo gel, okay? So we'll see if it works this time. I've never done it with the transparent foil. I've only done it with metallic foils that way. And it did work. I just had to be a little bit more patient, iron a lot longer. And then also when I was starting to do the peel and reveal, if I had any area that had not transferred, I just happened to keep putting the foil back down and ironing again, and doing that over and over again. So we'll get an idea of how this feels once I finish ironing, let it cool off, and see if it feels still cold and wet, or if it feels like it started to dry it a little bit. So the best way to work with this particular product, okay, and again, it is the gel duo that I only used on the pocket. I used the spray down this part of the shirt, okay. This usually takes 45 minutes to an hour to completely dry, and is the absolute main reason why I don't do it on lives. It just takes so long for it to dry. It says, Julie says, would it be a waste of material to use a clear iron on vinyl and then apply the foil? I never tried that, but you know, we had somebody the other day that was wanting to apply vinyl over the foil, and they found it worked. We got another person that's doing an experiment because she's trying to do part of her design in foil, and then she wants to overlay a vinyl word. So she's supposed to be coming back and reporting, but you could definitely try putting the vinyl down first onto an area and then layering it. Why not? I'm always up for experimenting and playing, because sometimes that is the time we find so many really cool possibilities, okay? Now, the only thing, Julie, about that is you're now applying vinyl and foil, and your starch probably get a little thicker with the texture of the material, okay? Because already these transparent foils, I feel make it feel a little bit more plastic, okay? So it's not going to feel like soft flannel in this area on the outside. On the inside, it still will. Okay, when you finish doing your ironing, you guys, you have to be super, super patient, and you have to wait, because all of our foils are what are called a cool release. So that means you need to let them cool completely down. Do not try pulling these when they're hot, because that is exactly where you could have some issues. Now, this end is cooler, so I'm going to go ahead and try and see how we have transferred down here. Okay, the other thing that you'll find with transparent foils, when you're releasing, pull inward, because if you pull out away from the garment, you'll probably get what we call over release, where I got a little bit right here, okay? And it is just one of those things that happens with the transparent foils. So I'm going to try and pick this up to where I'm pulling inward on both sides, or just do one side at a time. Make sure it's transferring everywhere, and then pull going in towards the fabric again, okay? Now right here, probably didn't get the best release, but I don't think anybody's going to notice but me. Oh, and look how cute, you guys, that is going to be. I mean, that's going to make the whole button area just stand out so cool. Okay, I'm going to keep releasing, as this is always my favorite part. But be patient, okay? Because this one area that I said didn't release completely on the really thick stitching on the outside edge here, if I wanted to, I could lay that foil right back into place and just iron again right there, and it would probably transfer. But like I said, I'm not going to worry about it. It's such a delicate vine that I don't think anybody would ever notice that there was a little piece missing. But if it bothers you, then go back and iron again. Oh my gosh, this is so, so cute. I think there's not going to be a regular flannel left that doesn't have foil on it by the time this community is done, okay? Now what I'm doing with this flannel, you could also do with some denim jackets, which would be super cool. I have to find one, okay? Terry was so kind to have one for me during the class, but the class was just so busy, and there was so much to, there was 15 people to help, so it was really hard to try to work on anything other than just a quick demo. Okay, so I'm just peeling this away because it's not stuck to anything other than it just stuck to the fabric, but I'm going to let this cool off a little bit more. I want to feel, just not sure how well this one's going to come out, okay? Because remember, I ironed over the duo gel before it was completely dry, so I might have to leave this on and press it a couple of more times, but I feel like it's cooled off enough that we can give it a try and just see what happens. Okay, starting to come off. It's not coming off as easy as it did over the fusible spray, but remember, this was still a little on the wet side when I started. Okay, I can see some areas here that definitely need to be scrubbed. Okay, so the one thing also about the gel duo is you can iron and also scrub. Okay, I feel like this is still too wet. Okay, there's some areas that I feel were just really wet and didn't release as well as they should have yet. So we're just going to go the other direction. Oh. Okay, it's this one area here. Oh, there, I got it. Okay. Whew, it did come out okay. So remember, you shouldn't have any of that difficulty on pulling it off if you wait longer. Okay, let me get this little mini press out of the way before I burn myself with it, okay? But this is so cute, okay? We've got the pocket, we have the button down area, and last night I got the top of the back, and the other thing I think I still want to do is I think I still want to do the collar, okay? So that way when you flip it over, I'll have it there as well. And I'll decide if I want to do a full back panel, but the one thing I do recommend is once you transfer to your clothing, you guys, you could probably wear this the same day, okay? Maybe let it sit for a couple hours, but don't wash it for at least 48 hours. Let everything have a lot longer to dry before you go throw it in the washer. Give everything some cure time and make sure that it is completely dry all the way through. But super cute project. So many things to do. Julie, thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, guys, let me go ahead and hold this up because I don't think you can ever appreciate how cute something is until you get it held up. Okay, I'll put it on, see if Dan will take a picture of me or a little video so you guys can see how cute this is. Partially done. Okay, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Not sure we're going to be live tomorrow, but we will definitely be back here on Friday, okay? So if you've got something that you would love to see me foil, definitely do me a favor. Let me know what the project is, the material is, and I'll do my best to find it and foil it for you here on a live. So you guys have a great day. We're going to go watch some more Detroit Tigers Athletics A's baseball, okay? So we're headed to a game, guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.